So the Range Rover turned up this morning. Now yesterday I went up to the owner's garage and I took off the front doors, the wings, the scuttle, the front and the bonnet. That gives us ample enough room to work on this without scratching the paint. Now what I'm doing at the moment is I've given it a power wash down, because obviously it's been in the shop for a long time. But there's things I've got to do first. I've got to take those shock towers off and paint those. They're in good condition. So I'll run them through the sandblaster and give them a paint. Same with the AC bits. I'm going to pull an awful lot of bits and pieces off here. I've just been practicing with a bit of Tremclad down here, but it's so windy today that I'm going to, like I say, get it in the shop, play around with it and prep it up before we put the engine in. Now I was contemplating taking the front off this, because you can see here, this is where it was bolted on originally from the factory, and they've got some spot welds here. If I were to drill those spot welds out, I could take that front off very easy, and it'll give us a really good access to put that engine in and to get the engine out if needs be later on. Well, you see there's a little bit of light corrosion down there. I'm going to clean all that lot off, but the rest of it's really good. This plate here has got a bit of corrosion on it. Well, I'll take all this lot off and give it a sand down and a bit of a paint and a tidy up before we put the engine in. On here, the well, I have, let's go back a little bit. I have a bit of a problem with this harness. This is the harness off a 3.9, and the 3.9 used to have a distributor, and that's why it's got a coil. The engine we're putting in is a 4 litre and it's got a coil pack at the back. Problemetto. So we're going to have a look at that and see what we can tidy up and see what we can do. Yeah, we're going to have to sort of mess about with hoses and things like that, but a lot of the parts look really good. Yeah, they did a nice job of the painting. Really nice job. But like I say, we've got a lot of place, you know, we've got a lot of jobs to do yet. Yep, there you go. So I'll show you a little bit before. We're not going to go too anal on rust underneath, because we're just going to have it shot with that April black rust proofing. The lift kit is going, and those knobbly tyres. Those knobbly tyres are absolutely brand spanking new. We've got 5 of them, and a lift kit, but not for this application, not for a nice road car like this. They're going to be awful, and probably lose the rims as well, and put some different types of rims on there. Discovery rims. They look ugly. So yeah, the inside's a bit of a sham, but I'm sure we can make that nice. Oh yeah, because here's the ECU for the 3.9. You can see the date code, 45th week of 1989. Well, we're putting a what was it now? I can't remember, 1994 engine or something like that. But we've got lots of places to play with, and we're going to need a lot of parts too. One of the jobs before we put the windscreen in is to change the colour or even the style of this top dash. I would love to put the 95 soft dash in. That would be really nice. Which saves a lot of trouble, but that brown, horrible, it has to go. And then it's like carpeting and things like that. In fact, what we were discussing is rhino guarding the inside black. I know it sounds crazy, but the customer's got dogs and things like this, and they're a bit messy, and she wanted something that she could wash out. So that might be an interesting interior. Do away with carpets and just rhino guard it. Maybe put some rubber mats, you know, down here. But yeah, I don't know. Everything's up in the air, because it's, again, let's get this right. Although it's got a nice paint job because it needed it, it is not a show car. It's just going to be a nice car for messing about with, and it's gonna get used. I know it was a bit of a shame to do so much nice paintwork, but that's how the garage did it. But it is rust free. We haven't welded anything on it. There's not many cars you get like that, you know. And look how easy it is to rust proof before we put the doors on. You can just shoot inside these holes here where the wires go through. Make sure those holes here are open. Yep, nice. A lot of work, but not too bad. We'll get there. Right, so the next thing is to get this in the garage, because it's too windy to paint today, and forecast snow, so we don't want that. And anyway, I've got lots and lots to do. Let's get on with it. Right, here we go, fully charged. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, that one went through, too far. There we go. That's all it's going to get. Now we're going to use the power of our dismantling tool that we can find in the shop. One right down there at the bottom. There we go. Can you see that? Wait a minute, let's move me around a bit. It's an action shot. And one right at the very top, which is a bit tricky to get out because of that. Oh, clip's broken. Gone. Get it? Oh, it's still on that top one. There isn't a spot weld in the top, is there? There's my drill on the floor. You know something, I think there is one on the top. You can't see it though, I think they've buffed over it. There should be one there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, there you go. Yeah, this side. Put my vital supplies over that side. Down to the bottom. Here we have one front panel removed. And we'll put it over there. Look at that! It's like a Defender again! I can now put that engine and gearbox in with no trouble whatsoever. Now we can plug weld those holes up again if we wish. Or we can put, like I say, put nuts and bolts in. And I'm tempted to use the original system with captive nuts and bolts. It's a lot easier. So that has got a fantastic access, because we can paint all this lot now and give it a good painting inside. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. That's going to make that an awful lot easier. You know, the people might say that's a bit rough, Mike, but it's a Range Rover with a V8 in it. The chances of the engine coming out in a few years' time is a strong possibility, because you never know. But it's easier like that, a lot easier. And like I say, for the cable, I didn't even disconnect it. Well, I didn't disconnect the cable completely. I should have done really, but I'm lazy. So now, clean up time. So there we go, this is the end of day one. It's cleaned up quite nice actually. Little light sandblasting, got the muck off. I put some stone chip on here where the rust was pitted. Really, it's covered it over quite nicely. It's made it a nice protective cover, so when we put the battery on there, the acid or anything won't get through it. Sandblasted, I did the same. I put stone chip on the shock towers because they were a little bit pitted, but they were good metal. I've pulled all the wires and pipes off and just sprayed round them. I've got to get new bushes for this Webasto, which are the same as 300 TDI air filter bushes, so I've got to get some of them because I haven't got any left. But I pulled out also the harness for the 3.9, and you know, there's not all that many connections on it. In fact, the only things we need to get to do is these two connections here, which ironically look almost the same colours as the 4 litre. So that should be alright. Well, like I say, it's tidied up nice. What you can do with a bit of paint, a bit of satin paint, looks alright, and you know, spend a bit of time. But I couldn't really put that engine back in when it was all sort of mucky, could I? That's the problem when you repaint cars. Where do you stop? Because everything else then looks rubbish. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So I've got, like I say, if I stand back here, now I took that front off, which is easy to put back on again. I've got bags of room to put the engine and gearbox in. Bags of room. So let's see what tomorrow brings. It's absolutely poured down today, so I'm glad I didn't do this outside. Yep, so that's it. So let's see what tomorrow brings.